Facebook is up.
Yeah, this way, Robin, I can do a watch party. So I don't.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And here we go.
The following program is a production of Yawawa Media in Niagara Falls, New York. The opinions expressed in the following show are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Yawawa Media or of our sponsors.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
I
Yep.
can't hear
You
you.
can't hear me?
Oh, you know,
Okay.
I can hear Robin.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Louder.
Robin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can
All
hear
right.
you.
Well, this is episode 18 of
Ohio Barb on audio.
This is episode 18 of Citizens United, back to back. Because last night we had Wade, which was a great special episode. I have feedback.
Yeah, someone up there.
There we are. We're back. All right. So last night we had Wade special, but this is a special broadcast too because it's it's the last one we do before the election, the big election on next Tuesday, and we'll be talking about that all night along with the Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. But right now, let's say hello to everybody. Lisa, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are
Good.
you?
Oh, not bad.
Good.
Nice outside today, huh? Chilly.
Yeah, at least the sun was shining a little bit. Give us a little reprieve from that dreadful, rainy, overcast.
Yeah, it was weird being here at night. Last night, how dark it was. Wasn't that
Yeah.
strange?
Well, it's going to be like that next week, too, because we're going to be turning them clocks back on Saturday.
Oh, do we? Oh,
I know. They changed it back. Isn't that weird?
weird. Yeah. Someday we're not going to do that, I think.
Yeah.
They're just going to stop it.
Well, it's because the farmers, correct, that they do that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
There seems to be an appetite, though, to stop daylight savings, you
Yeah.
know? But I don't know.
Oh, I didn't mind it when it was going into a couple weeks in November, and then they shortened it up.
Right.
But now they've extended again. So it's like 4 more weeks of just too much darkness.
Darkness, yeah. Robin, how's it going?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, I know you're doing all right.
Excited for this election. They always say it's the most important election of our lives. It seems like they tag that to every presidential election, but I'm thinking that this time it could actually be for real.
Yeah, well, you know what's real important, too? And I know I keep saying it, is our local ones.
Oh, absolutely.
We have a
People so undervalue the local elections.
Well, we'll get into this later. But there's ones that this is the beginning of draining the Niagara County swamp. If we want to really do something, this is the time. I got my ballot here, and we'll talk about that after. This is the time to start, and hopefully there's an awakening and we get rolling. And if we want to change stuff for here for us, we've got to teach people who's in charge. But Lisa, I want to start with something that we were going to have a guest tonight, and unfortunately we had a scheduling issue. No big deal, right?
Yeah.
And,
He thought it was
he'll-
tomorrow.
he'll
put
be
it
in.
His book is tomorrow, but it's
Yeah.
okay. I'm sure we'll be seeing some of him sometime soon.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you about Amy Coney Barrett, who was confirmed by a 52-48 Senate vote. And, of course, she's our next Supreme Court Justice taking over for our BG.
Yeah.
And now we have ACB.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on her? I mean, I got some things written down here. I just want to hear what your thoughts on her as how she'll be as a justice, and all of that.
I think that she is going to check her personal beliefs at the door. I think she's going to follow our Constitution. I think she is going to be an amazing addition to the Supreme Court.
Right.
I think that she is fair and just. When you watched her through her circuit court years, she's been amazing. It's amazing to me that so many of the obviously they have to. We know why.
Right.
But I mean, to really make this woman feel like that she's not worthy of this position is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, because the majority of them are they're all work. You know what I mean? Other than maybe the last one was Bork way
Yeah.
back when.
Yeah.
Right. Robert Bork. Yeah, maybe he was the only one that I can think of that.
Might have been questionable.
Yeah. I mean, there was some stuff.
There was some stuff. But they've, look what they did to Kavanaugh. Look what they did to Clarence Thomas. I mean, it's all of it. It's just crazy.
Well, because you know what I was thinking? Maybe it's time to. Well, they'll never do it. I mean, you would need to have a constitutional convention, I guess, or something. But think about if they'd have term limits for these guys, for these Supreme Court justices. I'm not saying like 8 years, but what if you just gave them 16? You gave them 2 decades worth of it.
Yeah.
I mean, because there comes a point where they're sitting there at 90 years old.
Well,
Got to be out of touch.
I agree with that. And guess what? Not for nothing, but it was really Ruth Bader's own fault. They asked her to resign from that position so that Obama could fill that seat,
Right.
and she wouldn't do it.
Right.
And now what? She was falling asleep on the bench.
That's what happens. I mean,
You
that's what happens, and
It
when you win an election, that's
Yeah.
what you get. You get to make the choice.
Yeah.
You know.
The quality really matters, obviously. And I think that that's why there's such long terms with this seat, a lifetime term, is because people like ACB just are not abundant,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm thinking like it all. Of course, blocking Obama from was it Merrick Garland
Right.
was a big. I mean, and it was in their right to do it. I'm not. The other side would do it too.
They would-
Because
everybody-
would do it.
exactly.
But it is a tough one when you're the president. You're not allowed to make your. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things that.
Yeah.
It was one of the slippery slope type things. And now here we are today. But although she gets, they had everything they needed and they were able to confirm her. And not that she shouldn't be. I mean, I was reading that before the confirmation hearings, her Gallup poll numbers were at 39%. After the hearings, 51% of Americans approve of her.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, that's how it's supposed to work, kind of, right? The hearings let people get introduced to her.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I didn't know who she was and stuff, and we get introduced to her, and the people seem to like her. If 51%, that's hard, I would think, to get that.
Just real quickly,
Yep.
Lisa, you'll like this. Tracy complimented your hat. She said she's digging the hat, and I assume she means yours and not John's.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's not mine. No one likes the leaf hat here. But anyways, except Peter.
And then,
Yeah.
and me.
Yeah, that's right. You, I know. In that hat.
Yeah. Kevin Hutchinson said, at least she's younger. These old dinosaurs need to go extinct.
Yes.
Talking about the Supreme Court. And I mean, I think that would be a benefit of term limits is people who are up with the times and, things change over time and people's vision doesn't necessarily change with it.
How about this thought though? Like maybe we won't have a term. Like if you have the term limit, is you can't have it. Let's say, I was saying 20 years, but how about you just have to retire at a certain age, like
Yeah.
72?
Actually,
I don't know.
Actually, over on my watch party, my girlfriend Kelly Colricata said, at retirement age.
Yes.
I think that would be fair.
Yeah, because then you'd have a younger person, maybe in their 40s,
Yeah.
50, and then they'll get a good 30 years
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
I just think that they're never going to stop.
Yeah.
They'll never go away. I mean, they're not going to. We saw that, and she's not. RBG's not the only one. They'll hang on. They always do.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I learned about her is, and this is something she's called an originalist, and what that means is the Constitution should not be altered for the times. The Constitution is fixed until lawfully changed. The court must stick with the original public meaning of the text, even if it rules out the preference of the majority.
That's what our forefathers did. That's what our forefathers intended.
Right.
So I agree.
Yeah. Now, don't you think, though, Lisa, just being a kind of devil's advocate, that maybe, though, see, that's my problem. I mean, like, even when you think of, like people that take the Bible for, like,
There's many of interpretations.
Yeah.
So they all have been tweaked, and that's everybody is so concerned with ACB and the Roe v. Wade being overturned. I think they're going to tweak it. I don't think they're going to overturn it.
No, I don't. I have a feeling it's just going to, I think it's going to go to what Republicans like. It's going to go to the states.
Right.
So depending what state you're in, it will depend on what's happening. I think that's what my guess is. Robin, you got something there?
Tim Heather says the Constitution hasn't changed, and that is what the U.S. Supreme Court enforces. Age of judges should not matter.
Right. Well, there you go. See, like this is why like I said again, I wanted Joe here tonight to be able to explain more.
And then I have Nick Nielsen saying the Constitution, in my opinion, is a trust.
Yeah.
And one last comment, Kevin Hutchinson says times change, people have to change.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
do
kind
our-
of agree with that.
I mean, do we really want to kind of? It's like walking on a tightrope to me
Yeah.
when it comes to the Constitution. I mean, we've been going good up
Yeah.
until now.
Yeah.
With the way things are laid in place.
My only thing is like with the Constitution, and just when I think about it, they certainly weren't. The founding fathers couldn't have understood. Obviously, they didn't. What 2020 looks like. Not even just 2020. The year 2000, even or any of it. And I just wonder if that's why I kind of call it like a living document. But that I think people don't like that idea. But that's just mine. That
Right.
it's kind of gotta be made into for the time. And I don't mean like we're gonna. I know people get kind of concerned on that tone because I'm not talking about like the Second Amendment or any of the because I think about what happened with like the Patriot Act and those acts. We suspended habeas corpus. We did whatever. We didn't even care. We're just gonna wiretap everybody. Americans know what anything, and you would have figured that should have been considered unconstitutional. But you know what I mean? Like they adjusted for the times, I guess, because of 9/11 and then terror and domestic terror, all that stuff.
Yeah, so now those are added in articles, right? Correct? Am I
don't think
interpreting it right?
I don't
of
believe-
how they do that.
I don't believe the Constitution was ever, like there was no, there was just no.
But
not that
each amendment they add articles to.
Right, but.
Right.
I think though, like this was never even. I'm trying to think if there was a court case like against to the Supreme Court about Robin. Do you know anything about that? The Supreme Court about like what I brought up. I'm losing my mind now. What did I say? Patriot Act and all that stuff. Like because I thought that was. I mean, that was suspending the habeas corpus stuff. That was suspending
Right.
everything. I mean, you didn't even need a warrant anymore. So I just didn't. And what is that? That's like the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And I think that was all done by executive order.
Yeah, it might have been, and I think the Senate and Congress just keep on letting
Right,
it
they
roll.
just keep, yeah.
Yeah,
Every president,
you might be right.
I think every president says, "Oh, okay, well now I'm the one that has the executive order, so we'll just keep it going," and no one ever speaks up. And
Well, the
takes it
Senate
away.
the Senate was fine with it
Right.
at the time.
At the
so.
time, yeah.
Well, you know what? I think we have a call. Let's see. Caller, you are on the air with Citizens United. Hello? You there? You're on the air.
Are you connected to Bluetooth?
I am. I think they are no longer on the air with me. Yep, they're gone. So I think you're right, Robin, on that. I believe that they are. It's been just a continuous. But the Senate and the House, they could have changed that. I
Right.
mean, they
it
could.
was allowed to happen because under the War Powers Act that they were able to make that executive order. But yeah, then Congress could have reined that back in.
Yeah, they just kept on letting it roll, which I
Right.
never understand. It's got
Yeah.
it. You would think it should be stopped, but okay. Let's move on from that one and go to a different question I have for you, Lisa, and for everyone here and out there and that's watching. Go ahead.
Tim Heather says you hung up on him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Call back,
Call
Tim.
back, Tim. Sorry. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know how to word user error. Democrats. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Tim.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hi, Tim. Sorry.
You hung up on me the first time I called.
I know. I don't know what's happening.
It's
Go ahead.
okay. I'll let it slide this time.
Thank you.
I want to talk about the Constitution. One thing that people need to realize and understand is the Constitution is what this country was founded on. Those are like your house rules.
Amen.
Okay? You come to America, those are the rules you got to follow. We shouldn't have to change because you're bringing outsiders or visitors. You don't change your rules at your house. If you say no shoes in my house, do you allow visitors to come in your house and wear shoes?
Right.
No, that's the rules of the house, right? The Constitution is the house rules for America. And there's certain judges that want to try and change the interpretation of it. The Constitution was written clearly in black and white. Granted, there are some things that I'm sure they didn't take into account, abortion, such as Roe versus Wade, or the terrorism thing like that. But that Constitution is the basis to which this country was founded on.
Right.
And to me, that's what those U.S. Supreme Court judges are to enforce. What are the rules of this land? Not what are we going to change because, well, we're offending you because you're coming from a different country. No, Jack. You came to America. These are our house rules. You don't want to go by our house rules. Go back to where you came from. These people, there's been people that have died to defend that Constitution. And to me, that dishonors every one of those people that have died when you start talking, well, we have to change this or we need to reinterpret this. I understand amendments. Like I said, abortion was never accounted for in the Constitution. I get that. But when you start talking about the Second Amendment, dude, the Second Amendment is sacred. You should not change that. That was put in to limit the powers of the government. Not to protect, not to for the citizens to protect each other, for the citizens to protect themselves from the government. Just like the situation we have now, where we have a government that's trying to overrule what the Constitution says and run as a dictatorship. New York State is a perfect example. They don't have checks and balances now, which is in the Constitution. They don't have checks and balances right now by giving Cuomo absolute power in the state. And look what he's doing. Yeah. If you do that to this entire country and say, we're going to scrap this, no, then you're going to ruin the country and turn it into a dictatorship. Those are the House rules. You want to live in this house, you go by those rules. Right. Plain and simple. That Constitution has been in there since 1776, Jack. You can't just go changing that shit like it's free, there's no consequences. Preach. That's a Pandora's box. Once you open that box and start changing that, you open the door for this country to become a Muslim country or a third world country. You can't do that.
Now Tim, what about what we were talking about, the Patriot Act? Now that's suspended the Fourth Amendment. And it's been and it's continually being suspended over and over. You know, when does that stop? I mean, that's not.
That should have never been put into place in the first place. That should have never happened. You don't suspend the rights of American citizens only under martial law.
Right.
Does that Constitution get suspended? And that should never happen. The only reason we would have to do that is when the government is trying to, just like they're doing now. They're overstepping what they're supposed to do. They forget that they actually work for the people. They represent the people, not control the people. That's when you suspend the Constitution. And that's when the citizens, that's your duty to overthrow that corrupt government.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what the Constitution says.
Yes.
And the Second Amendment guarantees that you've got the weapons, you've got the power to be able to do that. Right. Because there's only two ways to make somebody change their mind: by force or by reason. And when you got a corrupt government you can't reason with, what's your only option? Change it by force.
Right. No, and I was thinking too, as we were talking about the Constitution, I think our city charter's like one. It's somewhat supposed. No, that's the laws of our. That's supposed to be.
It should be exactly. That's what the city was founded on. That's the house rules for this city, and those shouldn't have to be changed like that. Like I said, I can see updating some of them for things that aren't covered in the original charter. We never assumed casino cash was going to come into it. Okay, I can see that. But when you start talking, changing things about how, citizens can't protest in public spaces, they're bullshit, buddy. That's the Constitution. That's the supreme law of the land. Right. There's nothing that should be in our city charter that should overrun the Constitution, should override the Constitution. And those older people that are on that Supreme Court, those are the ones I think that should be there, because those are the ones that are going to look at the Constitution and say, I know you guys think this is what you want it to mean, but this is what's in writing. This is what we have to enforce.
Yeah, maybe.
These younger people, you talk about bringing younger people in, and that's the first thing they're going to want to do. They're going to want to put their interpretation on it. That's why politics should not be involved in the Supreme Court.
Yes.
It shouldn't be no Democrat, Republican. No, we have a Constitution. This is your one main function. Uphold this Constitution. Make sure this Constitution is enforced. These younger people, you want to put younger people in there, and they want to change everything. I mean, walking around with your pants, with your ass hanging out of your drawers. I mean, pull up your pants, so that's in public indecency. Why? This is what's become allowed.
We're dealing with a generation that all gets a trophy.
Yes,
the problem.
Exactly. They have no responsibility for their own actions.
No.
They're not held responsible for that, and that's what they're going to try and write into the Constitution. Great. That's. I'm sorry, but I strictly believe the Constitution reason, and those are the rules of the house. Like I said, in my house, if I say my house rules, you don't come in with shoes on. You don't come in with shoes in my house. Yeah. If you do, get the hell out.
Right.
Yeah. The Constitution is the same thing. That's your house rules. That's what this country was founded on. And it's been in effect for over 200 years, and it's been fine up until now. Now we have this generation of crybaby snowflakes. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's offended. The media's telling you what you're going to be offended by today and telling you what you should think. That's not supposed to be.
Indoctrination at its best.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, the media is propaganda. There's so much propaganda. Everybody doesn't care what you think. They just want you to think what they think.
Yes.
They want your opinion to be their opinion.
Right.
And it can't be that way. That's what's ruining this country.
Yes.
No, thank you, Tim.
Great call, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank
All right, guys.
Take it
Have a
easy.
good one. I'm still going to be listening.
Great,
All right.
thank you. All right, bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
I've got
Caller,
a question.
you're on the air. Hold on a minute, I got another caller. Give me 1 second. I think I do. Call back because there's a user errors all over, especially by my end. It's no one else's. Go ahead.
Chris Fortin he said he's never seen the city charter and he wants to know how you get a copy.
Go online to the City of Niagara Falls' website. Actually, just go to Google and type in Niagara Falls City Charter. A PDF file will come up and you'll have it. And it's right there. You can read it all. It's you know what? Everyone tries to make that act like it's some kind of we're not smart enough to read the damn thing. Like I can read it. It's very plain. It's in plain English. I mean, it's real easy. Check it out because when you read it, you're going to be surprised how much of it gets trampled on, and it drives me nuts. And good question, Chris, because it's something that a lot of people here should read. A lot of people just mock it, but it shouldn't be mocked because it's the thing. It's our city's constitution, basically.
Right.
And they just
Our rules.
Yeah, and they just stomp on it. Don't care about residency. Don't care about nothing. And then they just we're dumb. Is there something there, Robin? Else? Oh, hold on. I got the call. Hold on. Sorry about that, caller. You're on the air. How are you? Hello.
Yeah. Yes. Good evening. Good evening, Robin, Lisa, and how are you doing here?
Good.
John?
Good. How
Thank
are
you.
you?
Good. Yeah. That was interesting. Tim was his name, your previous caller?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That was a really interesting point you just brought up here about the Constitution. Speaking of someone who came to the United States from somewhere else about almost 35 years ago, it's sad when I look, and I am not making any predictions for next week, but I'll tell you something. It's sad when an individual like myself, who wasn't even born here, and I know much more about the Constitution in this country than someone who was born here.
Yeah.
And that's frightening. And I have relatives of mine who, no matter what, they're going to vote for Joe Biden, even if there's history there to show what that man stood for the past 30 years. And that's, it has me very uneasy of what is in store for us down the road. And you know what, folks, before I leave you, I know you mentioned about this is an opportunity, as you put it, for us, especially here in Niagara County, to make a change. But unfortunately, we seem to be preaching only to the choir. And as I said, after this election, I'm hoping to mobilize folks here to see if we can fix the process and the system. We've put people in the moon. We put men and women in space. Why, in this modern day and age, we still can't fix is the wrong word, but restructure and improve the electoral process? Because the Republicans, it's a fact, they're out there suppressing the vote in some states, and the Democrats, on the other hand, they are just cheating as best as they can.
Yeah.
And it's about time we fix that.
Caller, what is
Or
your
correct
name?
it. I don't like using the word fix.
What is your name?
Now,
caller?
hello. This is Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
This
I
is
think
Kevin
you
from
called in
Hamilton.
before,
Yep.
and I always appreciate when you call in because you actually have such great viewpoints, and you nail everything really on the head. I have a question for you. I don't know what country you came
Sure.
from, but was it a socialist country?
Well, as a matter of fact, yeah, to some extent, it's like the Caribbean, to be more precise, Trinidad.
Oh,
And, this is a place that started people like Fidel Castro.
okay, right.
So
So you're
that just goes
recognizing-
to show you.
Are you recognizing something happening in our media that you recognized from your home country?
Not only in our media, but even in the way that folks I don't know if they're on drugs or they live in La La Land.
Do you think they're
but
being manipulated,
if
though?
it really would, yes, to dumb down the education system to
Correct.
such an extent
Thank
that
you.
we think by just electing someone to the White House, it is going to fix everything. But we should be concentrating on these local races.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And that's where I
Amen.
think we have a problem.
Amen, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
You always bring light.
Yep.
Always
All
bring
right.
light.
God
Thank
bless
so
you.
much.
You know, but that just didn't start in 2016.
No,
They've been
I know.
dumbing us down
For a long time.
since I was even-
long time.
I think since I was a kid. They've been working on it for a long time.
You know, I actually watched this woman. She's a doctor, and she was, a PhD in education.
Right.
She was a professor in, her name is Carol Smith, and she actually touched on, she said she was watching the indoctrination happening in the school that she worked for. She is a woman of color, and she said that she feels sorry for white people today because it's insane of what's happening.
Right.
I if you Google her, it's been quite a bit since I've watched her, but Google Dr. Carol Smith.
All right.
See what she has to say.
Okay. Robin, you got something?
Yeah, Talon Pomeroy says there was a study a bit ago that found most U.S. natural-born citizens couldn't pass a citizenship test. Can't remember who did it offhand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually kind of remember that
Yeah.
too. I just the dumbing down of people is got to be. Oh, both parties love it. Your major parties love that. They love when we can't pay it, when we're not paying attention.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and it trickles. You want to talk about trickle down? It trickles down to cities and counties because it's
Yeah.
much better when they're paying attention to Washington than it is to them. So I mean, it's been going on for a long time. I mean, maybe even my generation has some of it, which we're all, Lisa, Robin, you're close. I mean, there is some. I mean, it's better.
Yeah.
But it's just gotten worse and worse. They don't even teach people about. Like, I remember in school, we learned about the war, like the wars we were in. That included Korea, Vietnam. Now they don't even mention them. I think maybe you're lucky if you get the two big ones,
Yeah.
So-
I was actually blessed because I'm the youngest in my family.
Yeah.
And my father was much older. My father actually served during the Korean War.
Yeah, mine. Yeah, me too.
So right, so we're kind of blessed because you're the youngest too, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I was very blessed. Unfortunately, my father passed 3 years ago almost, but my father loved this country, and my father fought for this country, and my father taught me a lot about this country and what it means meant to him and to all of us, what we should think of it and how we should respect it and be accountable.
Right.
And that's where a lot of people are falling short these
Yeah.
days.
Robin, you got another one?
Yep, Kevin Hutchinson said, "You don't need media. This day and age, everything is right in front of our faces. Hell, the president lives on Twitter. Media is nothing more than opinion."
Well, that is media. That's social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah. So, well, because now one thing I will say that I definitely agree with Kevin is when you want to find corruption in your local elections, just go check out. You can see, and we can see it for everybody that runs who is donating to them. You can see it. You can do. I mean, before in the 80s and 90s, it would be tough. I don't know how that. I'd have to go to Lockport probably and see if they'd even give it to me. Now it's just on our phones. Very easy to see. You know what I want to do real quick since we're halfway. It's 30 minutes in. I want to read my guess the quote. I'm going to do guess the quote. No one here knows
And even
it.
I
No,
don't
I
know
can't
it
wait
this
to
time.
hear it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here it comes. And you'll know it's local because you'll hear the thing. All right. Here's the quote. A convicted felon making him the face of Niagara County. I don't know any other government that would consider that. I'll say it again. A convicted felon making him the face of Niagara County. I don't know any other government that would consider doing that. And it's a local guy, a local elected guy. So if there's any guesses in the
Did
studio.
Dennis Virtuoso?
Good guess. No, but it's a good guess though.
Okay.
Real good.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Anybody? And if you see anything on there, Robin, let us know if there's any guesses, and we'll move on to. You know what? Let's talk for a minute, Lisa, about our local elections that are coming up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Don't forget, here's what we got. Oh, hold on. Someone else is calling. Hold on a second. Caller, go ahead. You're on. Hello?
Mike Norris.
Hey, how you doing?
Mike Norris is the convicted elected individual.
Oh, Kevin's calling back with his
Oh.
answer.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not. Wait till you hear who this is.
But
Yeah?
he was successfully exposed and almost convicted
Okay.
as a former elections commissioner.
Right. No, I know.
Look
yes.
it up.
Yep. No, I believe. No, I know. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for that.
Okay, take
thank
care.
you. That's not the answer, but that was a good one. A good, it's not even, it's who said it. And then you could, if you wanted to tell me who it's about, but that's not part of the question. It's just who said it. If you know who it's about and you just don't know who said it, you can tell me that too. But
I would say it's about Vincenello.
no,
No?
not about him. You like to guess him. No, we're not gonna pick him. I know.
He's a pig. He's bound to do something.
Yeah, well,
He's
yeah,
bound to
that's
show
true.
up one of these days.
Yeah, that is true. I agree. All right, so let's talk about the local elections real quick. If Robin, if you get anything, let us know. All right, so this coming up, we've got.
Somebody's trying. Did you see what Nick Nielsen said, Robin?
Oh, legislator Jason Zona, the county Democratic chairman.
He's the winner. Yes, it is. That's it. Good job. Yep. He was talking about Kevin Schuler, the Niagara County Public Information Officer, who pled guilty to 2 felonies in the Buffalo Billion bribery scandal. He now makes $79,000 a year. They gave him a raise, and he is the public information officers are always bad.
And I gotta say that Tim Heather and William Nye both got that it was about Kevin Schuler.
Yeah, and they are always bad. They'll always be bad. They might not even be corrupt. Who knows? I'm not even saying a word about the person here, but still, they're always patronage, and it's unnecessary.
Well, you see it all the time, John. You know, it's like punishment it's rewarded in politics. It's a constant.
Yes, and the voters reward it too. That's what makes me sick.
Because they re-elect these people that have done wrong.
Rewarding failure over and over.
Yeah.
So now, I'm not going to get into the state Supreme Court justice one because so far as looking at that, I don't think anyone's dabbled in that nonsensically. I think that's going to be a normal. Robin, what do you have?
Chris Fortin, if you say sex monkey on
Hey.
the timeline again, you may be banned.
Is that what you had to say?
That is what I have to say.
All right, back to the state Supreme Court justice. We don't got to worry about that one. I think that's a good one. Make your choice. Choose, carefully, whatever. I'm not worried about you got Brian Higgins versus Ricky Donovan. Choose wisely there. I mean, it seems to be an ideological thing there, so do what you got to do. Now you go to State Senator Robert Ortt. He, of course, has no one. Democrats couldn't find anyone to run against Robert Ortt. So well, you know what? Let's not get into that. Then you have, I'll give you my suggestion, and your guys can tell me what you think. Now you got the Assembly. Angelo Morinello, of course, again, not surprising. There's not anyone that wanted to run against him. Of course not. Why would they? Why would the Democrats do that when they all love each other? So
I think we should all get together and write in your name.
Oh, but I can't. Remember what I said about my name? It's got to be stomped out because.
But I think we should stomp harder on Morinello and let it slide this one time. And
You guys don't think that Ann just done a good job?
No.
I think,
No, you don't. You can't. Don't. You can't. Yeah, no.
I mean,
No,
I mean, from what I've been seeing, he's been actually accomplishing things in Albany.
My thing, he's just part of the corruption, though. He'll be part of the whole thing where we just are going to recycle. You know what I mean? It's part of the part of the players. If you got to go with him, then you got to go with Wataza. They're all the same animal. And that's my point. Is we got to break out of that mold of just. But here, all right, let me go on. Then we got the county court judge, and wow, Caroline Watazik has the Democrat line, the Republican line. She got the green line, and I did talk to Wade about that, and it was a dirty way that she got that. And then she has independents and the Sam party, and Benedict sits with only libertarian and working families, and conservative. So he's got those three. Now why in the world? You know what? Because think about it. Caroline Watazik is a self-proclaimed liberal Democrat. Henry used to come on my show when I was on WJGL and used to laugh how, oh my God, I'm the head of the Republican Party. She's going door to door in Pennsylvania for Obama. This is incredible. So, okay, there she is. And she's being supported by Republicans. It makes no sense to me.
It is strange.
But you know what it means. No. All right, so then after that, now this is a big twist. We have the DA. It's John DiSoretto II against Brian Seaman. Now, on its face, if you went by my rules, you would go with Brian Seaman because Soretto's a name we know, right? That's how I've always said. But this one here, they did a double switch, and you got to be watching them because now all of the swamp monsters in Niagara County, they've been rallying, like circling the wagons around Seaman. So you see them all around him, and the little bakery jumps in too because they got to put the hammer down, and Soretto's is just out there, and Democrats, he's a Democrat and whatever, working families. Okay, so you got that. Seaman, he has the swamp monsters. They're surrounding him. Next after that is the sheriff. It's all Filicetti all the time, except for Greer, who is on what? The working families, right? Filicetti, of course. He's a Republican. Democrats are going to, love to jump in on that. So either way, it tells you right there what you want to do if you want to break through. If you don't want to break through, you would then just continually allow this stuff to happen. And Lisa, tell me what you got.
Well, politics are a dirty game. They always have been, and everybody always owes somebody at the end of the day.
Except us.
Except
the voter.
Except for the voters.
But
and that's the sad part is that. But who else is going to run? And if somebody, look at the Mariel race last time out. We had a solid candidate that actually could have helped the city. But the voters didn't come out to vote for him. And the ones that said that they would didn't show up.
Robin, what do you got?
I have a comment from Kevin Hutchinson.
Yes.
He said, I appreciate you all. For the record, I never say I'm right on how I feel. It's just how I feel. And I just want to say back to Kevin that we appreciate him and what he adds to all of our shows here at Uawa. He always participates in the chats. He's always watching our shows, and we welcome his opinion anytime. Whether we agree with it or, and we might go back and forth on it. Either way, it adds something to the shows, I believe.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. He's a great supporter of Uawa Media. He watches us all, and he's got always good things to say. Now, my thing is, though, now they...
Oh, and Chris Fortin says he loves me, so I got to add that.
Okay, yeah, well, of course. You're the enforcer. Look, see? You're like Ty Domi. Good job. Colt Knorr, whatever. I don't know who else we could say. Or Tiger Williams. But
Ty Domi.
Yeah, I said that. I know.
But that's who I got to go with. I've got 28 on my jersey.
All right, no one wants to. All right, anyhow. Lisa, you just said something that you're right. And I don't know why the voters then become accomplices. Like, why would you continue? Like, for example, you know what? I got an anti-corruption ticket. And this is how I'm going to vote locally. I'm going to do a write-in for Robert Ortt. I don't care. I'm writing someone in because he shouldn't be unopposed. There's no reason why the Democrats would not have found someone to run here to make us have at least some sort of democracy or some sort of choice. I mean, that's ridiculous. Angelo Morinello, I'm writing somebody in. I don't care, what it is. I'm writing someone in there. Lisa, it's going to be you. And I'm not going to, that's not fair. It's just not, you got to have, the Democrats should be, there's got to be a Democrat that would want to be state senator or assembly and would work hard at trying to. Yes, it's going to be an uphill battle because they're incumbents, but, you got to do it. Now, when I go to the judge, look, for me, you got to vote for Benedict. You can't keep going down the same road with the Watazics. You just cannot. Henry runs the show. Whatever he says, local Republicans do. And I think Democrats do too, honestly. Because when you watch some of these high-powered Democrats putting their arms around local Republicans, Henry's the new George Maziarz. And I think what he says goes, no matter what, So you got that. Now we go to Brian Seaman. I'm going to tell you, I'm shocked at this one, but I'm going to go with a name that we know, and it's going to be Soretto because, like I said, the swamp monsters are circling the wagons around him because, it's a good idea for the swamp monsters to have these things. If you got, like we said before, if you have a judge, you got a DA, you got a sheriff, the monsters are in good shape because they can just run wild. Who's going to check them?
Right.
Me, you here on this thing? We can't,
I know.
So I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Then Felicetti, I'm voting for Greer, all just because out of principle, because I cannot stand seeing someone having every single line. That's when you're just trying to block everyone out. And, Lisa, and Robin, they've been doing that for years.
Yep.
They block people out, and they really, you want to talk about dumbed down, they fool us, or they fool people.
That's been happening forever in Niagara Falls.
Yeah, and in Niagara County.
In Niagara Falls, it's been happening forever, ever.
But you can't.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, we got to stop.
I kind of feel like because this COVID happened, I think people are paying much more attention because they've been, forced to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I'm hoping that that's going to make a difference in the way people respond.
Yeah.
You know?
I hope so because they saw, as Tim was saying, it's unchecked power in Albany.
Yeah.
It's unchecked power here because if you ever beat a Watazik, okay, it's sent. I know this. If you beat her, you send a message to them, to the swamp monsters,
Right.
that we're not putting up with it no more. That would shake them.
Right.
They would think people are watching. They really do think we're dumb. And they just, they don't care. I mean, and that's why then everyone rallies. Why wouldn't this Soretto Seaman district attorney election just be an election? Why did they have to all come around him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all this. It's all the people on here that have what it is. It's Caroline, it's Felicetti, it's Morinello, it's Ort. They're all unopposed basically. Because when you really think about it, I mean, the sheriff's unopposed. With all the lines that Watazik has, she's kind of unopposed.
Yeah.
So,
Were you shocked? About Seaman?
about him being rallied around?
Yeah.
I was because I didn't know. But when I drove by the little bakery maybe a month ago, I saw his signs up there, and that told me, you know what? We know where this is going.
Okay.
That's the only. But I wanted to wait and see because a friend of mine asked me on Facebook about it, and I think he was a Soretto, supporter. And I said, I don't know, but we'll check out what the bakery's got going on. And if you see the signs up, I mean,
Okay.
that's it, man. It's over. And yeah, I was surprised. But I'm sure Soretto's not really liked anymore because remember he switched parties. He kind of pretty much told you something. He didn't say it, but he told you something was wrong. Right. He was kind of inching around it, but he never wanted, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want to say it.
Basically, he had a moral compass that turns on?
I think so. I think it happened, and everyone doesn't like that when you're in a swamp.
Well, then we all should know who we should vote for now.
Right? Yeah, because we have to just put an end to it.
Yeah.
We have a humongous, I'm so tired, and I agree with there's a dirty swamp in Washington.
Yeah.
But this one here, for the size of us, I mean, it's deep.
Yeah, it's a damn shame.
And we know the monsters. You know them by name. I mean,
I know. We walk by them on the street.
Yeah.
Well, when they're not hiding out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. But anyways, that's my anti-corruption ticket. And it's going to lose.
Nothing on the national level?
No. Everyone knows. I'm not getting involved. You know what? Everyone knows how much I can't stand Biden.
Right.
I cannot stand him. I couldn't stand him in 2008. I couldn't stand him in 88. I couldn't stand him when he ran before. I couldn't stand when he did the plagiarism. I hated it.
Yeah.
It drove me nuts that it didn't matter.
And don't you think this whole Tara Reid thing that came up kind of took away the ability that he had to say he was a better person than Donald Trump? It took that morality argument out of it because, Donald Trump had the allegations from the women, which granted were never proven, but then you turn around and hold Joe Biden to a higher standard thinking that he doesn't have that, and as soon as you blink your eye, he's got the same thing. So now it's who can do more for you. I mean, you're no longer able to vote for morality.
Yeah, integrity's out the window. We were done.
That's that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, we don't have it.
It's just the biggest problem, and that's I mean, was it really? When was the last time you actually seen integrity in politics?
I know it's sad.
That's the sad part. I mean, the sad part.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's fake
I know
integrity
a few,
too.
I know a few,
hmm
and I believe in them.
Right.
You know, in our local area, and because I've known them and I
Right.
know the person that they are.
Right.
Yeah,
You see a few sprinkled in every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, but
Far and few
sadly
in
you don't.
between.
Yeah, very much so.
Because everybody, the monsters come and storm up. What was that movie with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino? Where the demons came.
Yeah, the devil's advocate.
Devil's Advocate. There we have it.
Yeah.
That explains.
Good one, Peter.
That explains the swamp
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
in a heartbeat, because you go in, Keanu went in all innocent and wanting to do this great job and, fight crime and whatnot. And then you have that guy that just
Well,
swoops
that's-
on in and just,
though, you're right.
yeah.
But I think these people now that want to run know what's
Yeah.
happening. I mean, it's no
Yeah.
longer. I mean, if you're gonna hook up, if you're gonna decide that this is how you're gonna win by taking all the lines, all that
Yeah.
garbage, you know what you've done.
Yeah.
You've hooked up and you're hooked.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
was actually asked about 15 years or so ago to consider running for mayor.
Oh, you should have. But do it now.
No, thank you.
No. Oh, that's right.
Because
You're
I
not
know-
here. Well, it
well,
doesn't matter. You don't have to live in the city.
Right. Well,
So don't worry.
yeah,
Don't worry.
right. Yeah, no, that's not the reason. I was actually living in the city at the time that I was asked, and it was actually by a very prominent person out of Buffalo that wanted to manage my campaign.
You'd have done well.
And,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sure I would have done well because I know a lot of people, and a lot of people know me, and they know my integrity. But how much would my integrity stay intact when I have to, pay these people back? And
Yeah,
that's why I
the
wouldn't
scary
do it.
thing. Yeah.
That's why you can't do it.
That's why I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was totally afraid of that and that alone, because I never would want to disappoint my father or my family or my friends.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel a lot of people don't realize when they're getting involved in certain things that no matter what you do and how much you feel the integrity that you have, at the end of the day, there's prices to pay
Yeah, for
that
sure.
you have to pay, and it's needs to be addressed and redirected, and
Yeah.
the people really need to start taking back over their towns, their cities, their states,
Yeah.
and their country.
And I want to thank Wade Van Valkenburg for bringing up the possibility of third-party candidates. Howie Hawkins, I gave a real consideration to voting for him. I
even like Joe Jorgensen.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with her either.
I don't think that ultimately that's what I'm going to do, but I do appreciate my eyes being open to some, really good candidates that might be out there that may not be running on the major party lines.
Well, think about here. I mean, and similarly, there are people out there that would make a better assemblyman and a better senator, or or whatever, and they're just not going to run. You know what? Think about this. Wait till the Janelle Faso election comes up for city, for city court judge. That is a great job. Is it still? Does anybody here know if it's still? Is it part time? Are those part times?
I don't know.
I used to know before someone I knew got thrown out, but I don't. I don't know if it's the same anymore or not. So maybe I used to know it as part-time job, but
Yeah.
you made about $110,000 for working maybe a Tuesday, Thursday deal, and it's a great job. So you'd figure they'd be lining up for it, right? Watch what happens here. Watch. I've already talked to a couple people that I thought would definitely run, and they're not because
We've got a great suggestion
Okay.
for a write-in
I do
candidate.
like Janelle, though.
Go ahead.
I do like her and her dad and her brother. I have always liked their integrity.
right.
From our own Peter Green, he says that we should write in Lisa's hat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
My hat for president.
Well,
Kevin Hutchinson with another great comment said, mayoral race, Glenn Chalokian was the only one that even sat down and talked with me.
Well, let me say something about him, who is a friend. And no matter what you think about him, there's integrity. Another guy, got integrity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Glenn.
Yeah, lives,
Great guy.
loves his family and his kids,
Yes.
and he's got that thing about him.
Yes. Yes.
Integrity. That's what you.
Yes.
That's, so, but what I was saying about Faso is just that if there is no one running, if
Right.
people are refusing to run, it's because the name connected is why they're bailing out.
So you think that they're just afraid that they're not going to win because there's
Too much,
too much name recognition,
And chances are the Dems and the Republicans are just going to, do what they're doing with Caroline.
Okay.
It's a guarantee. I almost would bet it. I would bet on it that if anyone else dares try to run, it's going to have to be on a, working families or something.
Okay.
And for me, I hate this too, Lisa. There are people I personally like, but I gotta drain the swamp.
Right.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's for me. I'm sorry, I have to, because if I don't, then I shouldn't complain anymore. Why aren't we getting new people, or why aren't we finding new stuff?
Right.
Paula Friona said Niagara Falls still has hope, but is running out of time.
Yeah, I know. We're definitely running out of time. We've definitely ran out of money. So, oh God, I don't know where we're at. I mean, this next budget's going to be outstanding, because how are you going to go back to us and say, help us again? I mean, we're out of luck. They're out of luck. There's no more, you know what I mean? There's no more fees.
Yeah.
There's no more taxes. I can't think of any more.
We're definitely not getting any money from our governor, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah.
He just takes it from us. He loves it.
He is our pimp, man. We're the hoes over here in Niagara Falls. And he's our pimp collecting, and he's not even beating anybody up for us.
No, because our people love it. Our elected just, they take a knee and give it to them.
Yeah.
They hand it over, and we elect them. This last mayor, I put out on Facebook, and not everyone would have seen it, obviously. There's a picture of him in January of 2019, arm in arm with Kathy Hochul. So when you have that picture and you see that, and you don't like Governor Cuomo, Republicans, and then you guys, you Republicans, decide to vote for the guy, endorse the guy, but not endorse the guy because some Republicans actually had some integrity and said no, and now you vote for the guy,
But not enough integrity to endorse Glenn.
Well, no, I'm talking about the integrity of the Republican people. Some of them on the committee that said, "I'm out of here."
Yeah.
If you literally endorse this guy, we're leaving. So
Right.
that instead, what they do is they endorse no one, which is a backhand.
Yeah.
So then and I just tell you, this is my thing that drives me nuts. You are looking at the guy who is connected to Albany, and you don't care. But yet you will say that the governor is the devil, but yet you will go with the guy who's a little demon, and just hand it over. But fine.
Well, Cuomo is Al Pacino's character in that movie.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying. Everybody watched that movie, Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
It's no
yeah.
joke.
You got
it was a
something?
good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim said, I don't think Janelle would be a swamp monster. I think she has very strong integrity and would be a great judge.
I agree.
I disagree.
I agree.
I don't know if she'd be a good judge or not. She could be.
Oh, yeah, no, I think she'd
that's
be
fine.
very fair, and I think
That's
her
fine.
integrity, I agree with that.
But you lose integrity, though, when you dance with the swamp monsters and you let them say, hey, guess what? We'll get no one to run against you.
Right, well,
We're going to set this up for you.
I don't think she really knows that, because I know people that are actually going door to door on her campaign.
Oh, they do that.
You
Yeah,
know,
they
I
do
mean-
that. My brother did it when he ran.
I
No,
don't-
I'm talking about when he ran for judge.
Oh.
He did it. There were signs all over the place. I was chasing him down Maple Avenue when they were blowing down the street. And my father's yelling, "Get him!" Like it was I don't know what the hell it was, but I'm just saying. But then it was set. There was no one that ran against him. So.
So you're saying the lack of competition, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is Janelle as a person and a lawyer, as I know her integrity and her family's integrity has been, from my personal experience with the family, is very. good.
Yeah, and I'm not disputing any of
Yeah.
that. My dispute is when your integrity then gets you to think it's that you should be. If you're going to put yourself in that mix, well, I mean, what kind of political integrity do you have? If what you're going to do is basically close down voting. I mean, you're going to
But
stop.
she's not personally doing that.
She'll
It's
have to.
It's the parties are doing it, but I mean,
She'll know what's happening. It's not going to be a secret. You don't think that her family in any way will have any way of making sure that happens? Of course they will. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's just because it's politics. Well, then you can't have integrity in politics.
yeah, well, it's.
You get what I'm trying to say? Like,
I understand what you're trying to say.
I mean, I don't care about her. I mean, she might be great. She may not
Yeah.
be. I don't know. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other people around here that could be a city court judge. And they're all the couple of people I talk to I know are good
Right.
people. But they're not, they got integrity. I know them.
Right.
But they're not going to run because they feel that name is going to just nullify them. They won't be able to get, when they go in to see a Democrat or Republican for an endorsement, they aren't getting it.
Right.
So what's the point? And that's sad. I don't think it should be that way.
Well, maybe we can get some people to come on that are actually running for office, and they can let us know what they're going through, and
Yeah.
maybe we can see if.
I can't. I'll have to take the night off. I'll let you and Robin can take it over. I'm not going to be able to handle that because I won't listen to the bull crap that I'm going to hear.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm going to be told nonsense. I'm told it every day on Facebook by people that defend the swamp.
Okay.
And it's like, don't defend the swamp. I'm sorry. These these judges and district attorneys and sheriffs, they shouldn't be political at all.
Right.
And they're dirty. They're horribly political.
I think people don't realize how much you've seen over the course of your lifetime, like firsthand, to be able to.
Well, people just like to tell me that I'm a lunatic.
Yeah.
No, and I get that. I get that, John. I mean, obviously, there's been so much corruption, But like I said, as far as personally,
Yeah.
I know the fossils. I know their integrity. As far as the parties that are going to back them, I have no idea about that portion of the program.
But they have the integrity. They should be able to say no.
Right.
Why don't you say no if you have so much integrity? Why not say, you know what, I'm a Republican. I'm going to be a Republican. I would never go for the Democrats. And if they do want to endorse me, I don't want their endorsement.
Okay.
Like, I just don't get it. How does that not, no one gives a damn.
Right.
And I mean, whatever.
How much money actually, like when you have the parties endorse you,
Right.
how much money are they actually sinking into your campaigns?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good question,
I mean,
right? That's a good question.
I assume it's going to be
I
better than someone who's trying to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Doing it the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, because honestly, Jeffrey actually did have a great turnout
Right.
without being endorsed by anybody, and he used his own money, and he used his own feet.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I know Shalokian did. He
Yeah,
did well too.
and-
Endorsed by no one.
exactly.
Yeah. so
Right.
That's why I always say, try to do this as an independent. Try to do this in a different way. Because if
Right.
you don't back
Then
these guys,
kind of looks like you're being. I understand.
you
where
got to
you're coming
back
from.
these people. But if you're a Democrat, run as a Democrat. You would
Right.
not want, if you have any integrity politically, you wouldn't want the Republican. You wouldn't want to be I
Yes.
just don't get how you got something there, Robin, before we close out?
Yeah, just one last comment here, and it's from Kevin from Pendleton. He says Democrat and Republican Board of Education commissioners with their party's stooge staff manage elections. How can we trust how third-party candidate ballots would be accounted for?
I agree. I don't trust any of it. There was a time back when I was doing the show on WJJL, and you're going to remember this, Rob, and I'm sure some of you might remember too, when they found ballots in a ravine on Route 31
Yes.
because they fell off a truck, and some guy going out to cut his grass or whatever he was doing or walking the dog finds them, and there they are, laying there.
So it's disturbing, right?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, voting booths being kept in George Maziar's
I remember that.
garage. I mean, what are
We were just talking about earlier when the voting booth used to be in Hyde Park School when our youngest
Yeah.
was in pre-K, and we went in to get him, and the lady running the booth said, "Oops, I just
Yeah.
erased all the votes."
Yeah.
And, I mean, that was the old machines. We've come a long way since then, but, then again, you wonder how far have we really come?
It's
Yeah.
scary.
No?
That's we have a lot to worry about.
Yeah.
With our
We got-
upcoming elections, with
Yeah,
voter fraud. It's a lot to worry about.
All right. I guess we're going to have to close out here. But
It's already been an hour.
yeah, Lisa, let me ask you something, though, before, and then I'll let you say goodbye and stuff. You're excited for Tuesday?
So excited.
When are you voting on Tuesday?
Of course, I'm voting on Tuesday.
Not early voting, just voting on Tuesday?
I'm voting on Tuesday like
Okay.
I've always voted.
What do you think? I want to get a prediction from you on the election. I mean, you don't have to give it right down, but is it going to be a landslide? Is it going to be close? Are we going to have, what do you think?
From what I've been seeing, and from the undisclosed information that has been coming out day by day, whether everybody is getting that information, with the Bobolinsky and whatnot, people are paying attention. I think it's going to be a landslide. I think we're going to see 4 more years of Trump.
Yeah. Well, I'll give mine real quick, and then Robin, go ahead. Tell me what you think. You don't, just give me the landslide, not close, whatever.
Yep, I think, first of all, everybody needs to go out and vote, no matter who you're going to vote
Hear
for.
that.
It's the most important thing you can do as a citizen of this country. So use your right to vote. I see it as a close race with Trump winning.
All right. My prediction is this: you can't win an election without the excitement you need, and the Biden people just seem to be more excited to take the president out than actually elect the guy
Right.
that they got. I think that's dangerous. I don't think it works. I think I think, and I'm looking at early voting and stuff, and it's sounding like it's heading in a Republican way because they're not getting the overwhelming results they thought they would get, figuring that Democrats might do that. So I'm going to predict a Trump victory, and I'm wondering if Biden only wins one battleground state of Pennsylvania. So whatever happens, I mean,
I can't see him winning that state.
Pennsylvania? No.
Not with his flip-flopping on fracking.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no,
that would be just insane. That
That's
would
going to be
like-
rough, but Pennsylvania's always had that love for him, that Scranton Joe thing, and
But it's all BS.
Oh, yeah,
I know
I'm
it
8
is,
years
but
old.
yeah, right.
How many times can I be scratching kids?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, really.
I think a lot of us see through it,
People
but
are starting to read through his bullshit.
yeah, I think that's probably true, and I mean, there's a lot of it on both sides. So I guess
Yeah.
people are gonna have to, do their best to decipher what benefits them the most. Who's gonna do the things that are gonna make a difference in their lives?
All right, Lisa, let me, give your goodbyes to our audience.
Well, I'll tell you this. I can't wait until Tuesday. I can't wait until the election's over. It's been a lot of months of craziness in this country, and I'm hoping that everybody can start to settle down and come back together after this election is over.
Right?
That's one of my definite things I'd like to see happen. I love all my fellow Americans, those who came from foreign nations or wherever. I love them all. We all bring a lot to the table, and I hope that we all can just love one another, no matter what our opinions are in politics.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're all there to have each other. Because, like you said, when we're talking about the Second Amendment with Tim,
Yep.
if we have to go to battle, we have to go in it together. So remember that. If we have to fight the government, we have to do it together.
Yep. All right. Robin?
Absolutely on page with what Lisa said. I think it's of the utmost importance that we lose this attitude of us versus them and breaking it down in any way we can to split ourselves. I think whatever the election results are, we have to honor them, and we have to come back together as the United States of America, not the Trump party and the Biden hate, the Trump haters, and I really think that we need to all come back together and deal with things that are on our plate. Like, I think COVID, for instance, if we come together, I think we're going to have a much better time overcoming things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Now,
Yes.
well, for me, before I say goodbye and read my numbers, don't forget about third parties. I think they're important because if you don't like both, go that way, and because they're there, and it's not a wasted vote. It's a good vote. It's the right way to do it. The other thing is, like Lisa said and Robin has said, you got to, at some point this has to come back together. At some point this has to stop. We've hit a tipping point that I always said started in 1992 in the Clinton impeachment. I feel like MoveOn.org showed up. Everything got a little crazy. It was I'm going to do this to you. You're going to do this to me. It was just, they were waiting.
Tit for tat.
Yeah,
Yep.
over and over. This has to stop because this is at a whole nother level. And, whatever happens, happens. I mean, I just know that vote, go out there and do your thing. Please, please don't forget about your local elections. Do something, make that change because you'll really feel that one.
And do some research on them. Make an educated vote in your local election just like you do in your national election.
Yep.
I notice people show up to the polls and sometimes don't even know who the local candidates are and just, vote
Right.
party line.
Well, I'm going to read off my numbers now like I do.
Don't forget to mention what we're doing on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, what? Yeah, you say it. You tell us, Lisa. Come on.
So we're going to be out on Tuesday at the polls, and we're going to be interviewing people coming in and out of the polls if they wish to be interviewed, just to get the climate of what's happening out there on voting day.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be real fun, and then we're going to do a little bit of a podcast after the fact and in the evening. So stay tuned for that. I don't know what time we might be.
Yeah, we'll let
Like
everyone
we might
know.
start doing like around. It's just going to kind of be going on all throughout the evening. So that'll be a lot of fun.
I will keep it updated on my story and on my
Me as well.
on my Facebook page. So anybody that's used to going to there to see, when things start, I'll have it all on there.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice. Yep. Now
Sounds
make sure-
good. All right, I'm going to
Do your numbers.
I'm going to do my numbers now.
Important numbers. Very
Yeah.
Very important.
All right. So now, as I say at the end of every show, please remember if you're being sexually assaulted currently or abused, you were abused, and you're trying to become, from a victim, you're trying to turn into a survivor. Call the YWCA, 716-433-6716. Now remember, it's all free of charge too, and they will counsel you from home. You don't even have to get off the couch, and they're there for you. They have advocates. They'll bring you to the police. They are incredible, and it's right here. It's right in Niagara County. So it's 433-6714, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. RAIN with 2 N's, 1-800-656-4673. That is also for sexual assault survivors, victims that are trying to become survivors, the whole thing. Or if you're currently in that kind of thing and you need to get out, call there. It's anonymous, also obviously free of charge, and they're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mental health, very important. Depression, suicide, anxiety, all of that. 1-800-662-4357. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they are there for you. Because if you're feeling bad, you're feeling down, you're feeling whatever it is, because there's a lot of depression, call them. They're there to listen to you, and please do that. So be looking for us on Tuesday on the streets. Lisa will be on the streets. We'll be looking around. We'll have Peter, Rob,
My
myself.
favorite place to be.
We'll be on, and then we'll be back Wednesday for a recap of what happened on Election Tuesday. So everyone take it easy, be safe, and go vote.
Dominique, Nique, s'en allait tout simplement. Dominique, Nique, I will tell of Dominique, his good.